The Brew House was created to capture and share with you the long history of the Genesee Brewery. But the brewery itself isn't half as interesting as the beer and the people who make it. Visit GeneseeBrewHouse.com. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brew House. I'm Bill Pucko. Thanks for joining us. Happy to be joined by Jenna Cottrell from Channel 13 and her boss, Mike Catalana.
You say that with an asterisk.
That's the reaction I wanted. And, of course, Pat Duffy joins us here, too. Hey, let's talk about officiating. You know, it was, Jenna, it was pointed to, obviously, with the Buffalo Bills Monday night game. Personally, I think our sports have gotten so out of control that they're almost impossible now to officiate effectively.
I mean, here's the thing. It is, like you're saying, it's such a dense game. There's so many things. There's new rules added every year. And these are refs that, this is not their full-time job. A lot of refs have other jobs that they are doing. So for me, I kind of see what you're saying in terms of it being very, it's hard to figure out on the field, especially when the pace of the game is so violently fast. But still, that is your job, and you should be held accountable.
Remember Sal came in here, it wasn't that long ago, where he took the Trump approach to the whole thing. He said the NFL should gut their rule book and rewrite it from scratch.
Three quick things. One, blame Goodell. I'm going to get that out of the way early. It's his fault.
I was wondering when you
would
say that.
The rule book is too big. It's too many rules. But third, when we're talking about that specific thing, in the history of me personally watching the NFL, and I've seen some horrible calls, terrible things against the Bills, all that, that sequence before half was the poorest handled by an official and his crew that I have ever seen watching the NFL. They were wrong on every account. They looked confused. And at the one moment, Walt Anderson is yelling like Kevin Bacon in Animal House, all is well. The half is not over. And he's trying to get the teams to come back. Absolutely ridiculous. But I do go right to the top, and I think it's Goodell's job to overhaul everything with the officials and replay in the offseason. It is what is killing ratings in the NFL. Yeah. The games are difficult to watch.
I love how you guys talk about how complicated it is. I'm not a smart man, despite what you two believe. I knew everything that should have happened going up to that break, and it's just because I watched the game. In fact, most fans knew exactly what should have happened when it comes to the roughing the kicker and the offsides is unabated of the quarterback and he's standing over the ball with 5 seconds to go. So it's not like it was too complicated.
Yeah, but see, you've already got it wrong because it wasn't roughing the kicker because he got a piece of the ball.
No, but it was
so they had to call it the
not
other
true
way.
because it was unabated, which makes it roughing the kicker because you made contact because the whistle was blown.
But here's the difference. But here's what changes it. This is why it's too confusing. It's a penalty for unnecessary roughness, not a personal foul, because now we've added the two personal foul calls. Then it's when you reset the ball, because when you go to reset the ball, we had to have the kicking ball to kick. Then we take that ball out, and then when they set it, and then when they reset the clock. Too many rules, too much of a mess. But I will say, when it's done, I don't care what you say, how in the world is that not some form of a penalty on Richard Sherman? He went right at his legs, reached back for the ball.
He hit him in the outside knee! Outside knee!
He reached back for the ball like a guy sliding into second base. I mean, every person, you go across, I can't believe anybody believes that, I'm not saying intentionally that he tried to injure him, but he did what is a violation in the NFL. It was handled terrible.
All that notwithstanding, I'm saying even baseball. We're talking about the replays of the World Series, Jenna, where they were like, you could slip a dollar bill in between where this guy is either touching or not touching the base. And they're making judgments on these things. It's just out of control.
My thing is that I loved is when you had Walt Anderson and his reaction when Rex was ripping into him. It's like when you're you're a child and you're being scolded and you know you did something bad, so you just stand there and take it. I think that says it all. They knew that they had messed up, but at that point,
I know he was using words he otherwise would not be allowed to use.
I've never seen Rex like that.
But to your point, we now have this technology, and sometimes, when you're right, you watch a replay in baseball, we can get the camera on the base. You see that fraction of a moment. Is that why we have replay in the games? Well, it's here now. But they do need to change the way it's all done.
This is the Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brew House. We're going to talk the NFL and the actual games on the field next. Press Box, brought to you in part by Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys. Call 262-COMP, C-O-M-P, today. The Buffalo Bills quote of the week was brought to you by the Rochester Geico office. Give the Rochester Geico team a chance to see how much you could save on all your insurance needs. Call or stop by the office on West Henrietta Road, open Monday through Saturday. Our Geico Rochester quote of the week. Bills don't play this week, so he's got a couple weeks to deal with this.
Yeah, they do have to have him ready, and I think it's going to be determined by where the Bills are when he's ready to come back. If they get a win or a couple of wins and things are looking good, you got to have the guy healthy. I mean, they have messed this up before. They've done it with other players. And, you think about this season. The Darius part has been a joke between his suspension and his injuries. So you could almost argue Darius and Sammy Watkins are two maybe top players on each side of the field, and they haven't really had them this year. Get the guy healthy, get him ready. If the team's out of it, sit him down. But I think if he's healthy, I think he's going to play. This
portion of the Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brew House, is brought to you by Connors and Ferris. Well, let's fly around the table quickly. And, the Bills at 4-5. What do you think going into the last half of the season?
I mean, it's frustrating to me because I feel like a lot of times the Bills put themselves in a position to win and then just can't get things done. And my thing with Sammy, if he does come back, he's a headache, in my opinion. It's so frustrating because you see the level of talent, you see the level of ability, but I feel like there is always an excuse with him. And the same with Darius. He's someone that has first of all, that paycheck alone, you should be out on the field producing. To have the suspension again, then to be, have the hamstring issue, now the groin issue, it's just frustrating. And I feel like this Bills team, coming into this year, there was so much hype, as there is every year, but with the talent on this field and what we saw early on, especially that 4-game win streak, it seemed like the Bills were trending in that right direction, and you saw those bright spots. And I think something to take out of last week, at least, is the play of Tyrod Taylor, and hopefully he can build off that moving forward, because if you have any shot of wanting to make the playoffs, you have to win.
I don't think they're done. I think they still got something to play for.
Well, you have something to play for. All these guys have something to play for. A lot of them are on one-year deals. Forget what the team's going through.
Yeah, but I still think the playoffs are in play here.
You can lose one, maybe two, to make the playoffs. And that's what hurts is this team is a good team. The last 2 years in Orchard Park, you've had the most talented Bills team in 20 years. Is that a fair statement? Since Todd Collins? And there is just something that will always happen, whether it's injuries. Again, now Eric Wood's going to miss the rest of the season with a broken leg. That's devastating. Who knows if LaShawn McCoy's even on this roster next season with the money that he's due to make, and if Shady's not going to be there, and you're not going to make a decision on Taylor, you got to blow it up again. And we're starting all over from the beginning. No running back. The defense is trending downward. Zach Brown's going to be gone 1 year deal. Lorenzo Alexander's going to be gone 1 year deal. I don't even know.
Well, look, the Bills don't play this week. Yeah. Let's throw some games around this week. We're all going to take the Seattle at New England game. The line on that is 8.5 going to Seattle. So let's pick that game, Mike.
Yeah, that's a Foxborough game, correct? And it's Seattle getting 8.5. And I will have to say, being out there and watching them, I didn't expect Russell Wilson to be able to do that. He hasn't played like that all year. Jimmy Graham made 2 incredible plays. And Russell Wilson was very accurate, but the Bills secondary played really poorly in that game. I don't know if Seattle has enough to stay in there. I certainly don't know if they do defensively. The Bills moved the ball up and down against them. I say New England wins the game. I say at home it's relatively close for a while, and then New England pulls away. So I'm going to take the Patriots given the points.
Okay.
I would totally, I hate to say it, but I think I agree with you.
Does he make you do this?
No, which is shocking. No. I almost, in theory, want to pick against that. But I think, like what he was saying, the fact that the Bills were able to move the ball so well against that high-powered Seattle defense, I think when you have Tom Brady coming in, he's Tom Brady for a reason. And then also, the Patriots coming off the bye week, you have some extra time to plan. It's in New England. It's at Foxborough. I don't see how Seattle can do it.
So you're playing the high side on New England.
I'm going to be that guy. I think Patriots are due for one. Tom Brady's had a lot of negative press this last week and a half with what's going on politically. His wife is now telling him who he can vote for. Don't know if you saw that story. And I think Jimmy Graham being 100% healthy, which he looks now, really helps that team. I think Seahawks cover, Patriots win a close one.
I'm gonna stay with my buddy here. I like the 8.5. I think it's too many points, and all the rest of the stuff I think is already factored in. So I'm going to play Seattle. Pick another game.
I'm going on a limb with my team again. I think the Eagles beat the Falcons at home this week. Falcons are really good. Things have gone well. They're coming off that bye. And it's a pick'em game. It's back in Philly. The Eagles haven't lost a game at home. Had a shot to beat, should have beaten Dallas. Had a very good chance to beat the Giants. Failed in both of those. They'll be a bit of an angry team. And I'm going to whine for a second at the Eagles. 3 straight weeks they played a team coming off the bye, and now they play Atlanta coming off a 10-day rest.
Oh, wow. Welcome to every Bills season ever. Oh, does that hurt? Does that hurt you?
It's never happened in the history of the Bills that they played 3 straight teams coming off the bye. First of all, I blame the Eagles. Somebody should have recognized that in the schedule when it came out. I mean, it's absurd.
Well, Goodell's not going to let him protest it.
It's Goodell's fault.
It's Goodell's fault.
Packers, Titans, 2.5. I'm going Packers all day long.
Jen, pick a game.
Giants, Cincy. I'm going to go Giants.
Okay, that's a Monday nighter.
Yeah.
And I like New Orleans at home giving a point to Denver. Here's a look at the standings for our NFL Picks Contest, brought to you by Connors and Ferris. A 6-game win streak has yours truly on top. The winner of the contest will have a donation made in his name to Hunter's Hope. This week, Greg Connors is selecting for the Connors and Ferris team, which is now 7-11 and are 6-4 in the last 5 weeks, making a push heading into the second half. This portion of the Rochester Press Box brought to you by Connors and Ferris. We'll be back. The Press Box Trivia Question brought to you by Sleep City. Queen adjustable bed with memory foam mattress, now $977. Save over $500. Shop Rochester's only locally owned mattress store. No pressure, no hassle sales experience. Here's a look at the Press Box Trivia answer brought to you by Sleep City. Queen adjustable bed with memory foam mattress. Now $977. You save over $500. Shop Rochester's only locally owned mattress store. No pressure, no hassle sales experience. See New York in a whole new way. Amtrak is offering a 15% discount for all travel inside New York State and to Montreal. Visit Amtrak.com for the See New York discount. Safe, comfortable, affordable, and easy. Amtrak. Enjoy the journey. Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brew House. This portion brought to you by Amtrak Trains. Enjoy the journey. Like it or not, Jenna, Colin Kaepernick decides that he's not going to vote in the elections.
I hate that. I really do, because here's the thing. Whether you like Colin Kaepernick or not, as a member of the media, I think the freedom of speech is such a crucial thing to America. And stemming out of that is the freedom to right to assembly, which in most cases means protest. So my thing is, I'm cool with him. Maybe I don't exactly agree with his political takes in terms of, sitting during the anthem, but I understand his ability to do that. My issue is you are putting yourself on a political platform. You're talking about these issues. And then when it comes to voting, an issue that, how can you not vote? I don't care if you don't even vote for, the presidential election. Mike and I were discussing this. There's still the local elections, and just the ability, people had to fight for the ability to vote, and the fact that you're just literally taking a knee, figuratively, on this issue is infuriating.
So just to be clear, you're okay with all his freedoms, except when he exercises his freedom not to vote.
Oh yeah, I here's my thing. You talk about the freedom, the right to assemble, the right to, freedom of speech in terms of that. The freedom to vote was not given.
Yeah.
It was something you had to fight for. So
you make an interesting point saying he is free to do that, and anybody is free to criticize him.
Doesn't mean I have to like it.
I guess the issue is this, right? You don't fight for the right to vote. You fight for the right to choose, for the ability to vote. And I do find it a little bit hypocritical, because I've heard this for the last couple of days, right? He has the right not to vote because he lives in a country that gives him the right to or not to. You can't say I celebrate all these freedoms and then go, well, you didn't vote. That makes you, you should vote. How dare you not?
I just think it's very interesting, the fact that he's willing to take such a political stand and talk about all these issues, but then when push comes to shove and you can get out there and vote for people that can actually put policy into place, you're like, nah, it's not for me.
Well, here's why I would say it too. Sir Colin Kaepernick, do you like or dislike, or you have an opinion, or anybody does, on what he does for the anthem? Then the next step is, does he do things in the community and otherwise, which I've seen as a big positive, because he has gone out and do that. But if he did nothing, then I think people would have the right to say, come on, don't just take a knee, do something about it. And voting is a way that I think you can do that.
He makes himself a lightning rod for political and social issues, and then not to vote, to me, is the single most disturbing part, or the most undercutting thing he can do for the rest of his stands. Quickly, like it or not, Mike, Kayla Carpenter.
Here's what I will give her. She's criticizing on Twitter Richard Sherman. I give her this little bit of saying that was her husband that was hit in a way that I thought was a dirty play by Sherman. That being said, I never want to see wife, brother, sister, father, uncle getting in the discussion on Twitter, especially this. And the whole point of going to castration,
there it is.
You might try to make, and referring to another person as in basically as animal ways, way too far, Kayla. I will give her this. I think she thought she was being funny. I don't think it was played that way. Plus, you're his wife. Check on him, but I don't think we need his wife being in the public.
Quick last word on that matter.
I mean, listen, I think that what she said was in jest. I know that she's upset. That guy could have cost.
I think she meant it.
But you could have cost her husband his career. They have children.
Right. She went a little too far.
Okay, fine, but I'm okay with it, right? If Sherman's going to do those things and Sherman's going to run his mouth the way he is, let her do those things.
Castration.
This portion of the Rochester Press Box brought to you by Amtrak Trains. Enjoy the journey. Unfinished Business is next. The Press Box Stat of the Week brought to you by Fiondoc and Fiondoc. Remember, if you've made the wrong choice, it's time to make the right choice. Fiondoc and Fiondoc, New York's DWI leader for over 35 years. Visit nydwi.com. Dunkin's Sweet Black Pepper Bacon Sandwich is back. With twice the crispy caramelized pepper bacon, experience a breakfast sandwich made for bacon lovers. America runs on Dunkin'. Welcome back. The Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brew House. It's Unfinished Business, brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Brace yourself. Pat.
The election's all over, thank goodness. I'm done talking politics. I hate it. Well, after this, I'm done talking politics because we saw a whole bunch of sports figures come out in support of different political candidates. LeBron James is the one that sticks out to me in his support of Hillary Clinton. And this isn't a partisan thing because Richie Incognito came out in support. Rex Ryan of Donald Trump also. Here's what I don't understand in the head of LeBron James. One, half of the people that love you as a Cleveland Cavalier are now going to dislike you because you're endorsing a candidate that they don't like. Two, how arrogant are you, LeBron James, that you don't understand that I realize that you're a millionaire who's one of the most famous people on the planet. And no matter who wins this election, everything's going to be great for you. Right? You have nothing to lose at all. Everything's going to be fantastic. It's a slap across my face, whether it's Incognito, whether it's LeBron James, whether it's Rex Ryan, that you're telling me how I should vote when you have no skin in the game whatsoever, right? There are people that have legitimate issues that are going to change based on who wins elections, right? I would listen to my guy, buddy that lives next door, who's in the same socioeconomic status than I am, before I'm going to listen to a guy that's really good at slam dunking a basketball or pancaking a defensive lineman or calling out a defensive scheme. I don't care who you're going to vote for, and you're only hurting yourself by telling me who you're going to vote for.
With all this stuff, who's influenced by that? I mean, who cares who uses what razor even?
We talked about this on the break room the other day, especially when it comes to political stuff. Is there someone so stupid that LeBron James says vote for Hillary, Incognito says vote for Trump, and I go, oh, that's a pretty good idea?
I think it's different than endorsing products because I think they can make a product. I don't think a candidate works that way. And LeBron endorsed her in a very key state. She lost that state.
Yeah, quickly too.
Yeah.
Jenna Cottrell.
All right, so here's the thing. Are you sick of the NFL season, kind of like I am? With the Bills bye week, all right, here's the thing. There's terrible officiating. The games haven't really been that great. And let's be real here. There's been ties. Nobody wants that. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to change over to college basketball starting up this week. And Syracuse. Now, Mike and I were there in Houston when they made it all the way to the Final Four with a team that nobody thought was ever going to be there. But this year, they're going to be good, and you can mark it on that. Okay, so here's what we're expecting. Tyler Roberson having another year. Tyler Lydon also, Tyus Battle. This is something that Syracuse didn't have last year, and that is depth as well as transfers. So go out, go to the Dome, catch a game. It's going to be fun. And hey, maybe you're not a Cuse fan, which I might judge you for, but if you want to watch some local kids, check out Thomas Bryant at Indiana. He's a Bishop Kearney grad. The kid is going to be a stud.
All right, I'm going to go back to football since you're talking about that. And I'm going to stick up a little bit for the Bills quarterback. You know, when you got a chance to watch Tyrod Taylor on Monday night, not only do I think it was the best game he played, he looked different to me. He was accurate, he was decisive, and he was the kind of guy that you start to say, hey, string a few of these together and it makes sense to spend the money. Then I started looking a little bit into next year and you start wondering, where do the Bills go with this? And you know I've been kind of in the middle on Tyrod, thinking he has to prove something. But then there's the other part of it when you start looking around. I heard a draft analyst start talking about next year already saying there isn't one guy who appears to be a first-round pick. Now, somebody may take a dive on somebody. Somebody may jump up and try to take a player. I don't think it's going to be the Buffalo Bills. I think they have big issues next year as far as quarterback's concerned, and I think Tyrod still has a lot to prove. But on Monday night, we got a bit of a glimpse of what he could be, which is much more of a quarterback going forward, a guy who can win and win on the road. If we see more of that, maybe he will be the long-term answer in Buffalo.
And 7 more games to check it out.
Yep.
This portion of the Rochester Press Box Unfinished Business is brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Jen, thanks for joining us again.
Of course, thank
We'll
you.
see you again. Mike, Pat, thank
back
you.
to work.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week. The Rochester Press Box presented by the Genesee Brew House.